Andrij Dobriansky is an executive board member with the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, joining us this evening on set. Mr. Dobriansky, thanks for being with us. I have this report in my hand, released today. I know you've seen it. It was released by a collaboration of important think tanks. It's called Preserving Ukraine's Independence, Resisting Russian Aggression. It makes the case for direct military assistance to Ukraine, including lethal assistance, which means missiles. How much impact is this report having in Washington tonight?
Very big, because many people in Washington have been behind helping Ukraine for many months now. The primary obstacle has been the president and his inner circle. What this report is generated by are former ambassadors to Ukraine and former secretaries of state, undersecretaries of state, most of which have been from the Democratic side, so advisors to the Clinton administration, as well as to the Obama administration as well. So this signals that even people in the president's own party are now feeling comfortable to push the president to finally release some kind of help to Ukraine.
NATO's military commander Philip Breedlove now also reportedly supports arming Ukrainian forces with weapons. Wouldn't that risk escalation and more civilian casualties?
What we're looking for in Ukraine is to stop the offensive by Russia to hammer civilian areas with rockets. So the weapons specified are countermeasures for medium-range rockets.
Anti-armor missiles, it says here in the executive summary.
These are anti-tank missiles. So these are double warhead missiles that are able to pierce the Russian armor. If you saw the movie Fury just released, you saw Brad Pitt trying to go up against newer German tanks. This is what happens with Ukrainian tanks. Ukraine has not had new tanks since the independence in 1991, so we're going up against newer tanks. Every time we send 9 into a battle, only 1 or 2 come back.
But how would that change the situation if the U.S. sent arms? If Russia, as U.S. officials say, are not only sending arms, but sending soldiers?
Yes. Well, what we need to do is stop the advance so that we can have a dialogue. Much like the Dayton Accords never got to the table with the breakup of Yugoslavia.
It does more than stop the advance. Experts say if the U.S. decides to arm the rebels in Russia, they begin a proxy war with Russia, a nuclear-armed nation.
Yes. Well, what Ukraine is asking for are not troops on the ground. Ukraine is not asking for any military involvement by the United States military. In fact, this report specifically says no arms that require specialized knowledge from a United States or NATO force. These are basic military weapons. The way to prevent Russia from blocking radio communications, anti-jamming, medium-range observational drones, not anything on the scale of a Predator drone. These are small things to stop and advance.
But you have the commander of the rebels now calling for 100,000 new recruits.
Well, Russian troops. That's where they're going to come from Russia. There's almost 10,000 Russian troops on Ukrainian soil.
So you think that's his way of not just saber rattling, but saying that Russian soldiers should come on over across the border and start fighting with the Ukrainian?
That is Russia's way of announcing that they're going to send more troops through the proxy.
Because you believe that the commander of the rebels is a puppet of Russia. Angela Merkel, as you know, said today that the conflict cannot be solved militarily. Is she right?
There's only one way to stop an advance of a military, and that's to stop it militarily. Once we can get the buffer zone that was agreed upon in Minsk, that's what everybody's reaching for. That's what Secretary Kerry wants. That's what the president wants. He wants the Minsk Accord to be honored so we can have that buffer zone. Unfortunately, just yesterday, more rockets were fired 25 miles past the buffer zone. So if we can't honor that buffer zone, and the only way to do that is with countermeasures. We're talking about defensive weapons, not offensive weapons. Pure and simple.
Andrij Dobriansky, thanks so much for being here on the debut of our Global News Hour. Good to see you.
My honor, Stephanie. Thank you.